Hello, welcome to Ask Rabbi Spivak. I'm Rabbi Yaakov Spivak, and today's letter comes from St. Louis, Missouri. Dear Rabbi Spivak, I can't even think I can appreciate the depth and breadth of Jewish law, its vastness, from left to right, up and down. The depth of Jewish law, it amazes me. Can you please explain to me how Jewish law is divided? Well, that's an interesting question. Jewish law is divided. The most popular way is into four sections, and that is Orach Chaim, which means the path of life. Yoredeya means teaching knowledge. Even Oezer means the stone of help, and Choshen Mishpat means the breastplate of justice in this particular case. And the way they are divided is originally was by Rabbi Yaakov ben Asher, known as the Tur, and that division was carried down to Rabbi Yosef Karo in the Shulchan Aruch, and that he wrote the Tur, or Rabbi Yaakov ben Asher, was in the 14th century, and Rabbi Yosef Karo was in the 16th century. We will concentrate on Rabbi Yosef Karo's Shulchan Aruch because it is the most popular and the most used for Jewish law. Rabbi Yosef Karo's Shulchan Aruch is, as I said, divided into those four previous topics. He wrote for Sephardic Jewry. It's an interesting situation. He actually, his major work, his magnum opus, was something completely different. He wanted to write a commentary on the Tur, on the Code of Jewish Law before him, and that's it was called the Beis Yosef on the Tur. That's what he wanted to originally write. His Balabatim, his congregants said, Rebbe, this is too hard for us to do. Maybe you can write us a quickie handbook so we have something we can learn. Easy to learn. So for that, Rabbi Yosef Karo said, okay, it's not my magnum opus, not my major work, but I'll write something and call it the Shulchan Aruch. And stranger things have happened in history, but that thing he wrote just for his Balabatim eventually became the major code of Jewish law that we have. He wrote for Sephardic Jews. Now, in the Shulchan Aruch that we have today, we also have the Ramah, which is Rav Moshe Isserlish, and he lived in Krakow, and he wrote for Ashkenazic Jews. So when you look at today's Shulchan Aruch, you'll see the Mechaber, the author, meaning of course Rabbi Yosef Karo, and the Ramah, Rashi Tevos, abbreviation for Rabbi Moshe Isserlish. And when you study one, you have to study the other. And whenever there's a disagreement between Sephardic and Ashkenazic Jewry on halacha, on Jewish law, then Ramah will state that difference. So let us look quickly at what the Code of Jewish Law contains. First of all, if we look into Orach Chaim, the way of life, Orach Chaim, on the list, it talks about laws of prayer, synagogue, the Sabbath and holidays, among other things. Yoredeya, which means, Orach Chaim means the path of life. Yoredeya means to teaching of knowledge. That discusses laws of kashrut, kosher laws, religious conversion, mourning, laws pertaining to Israel, and laws of family purity. Is in Yoredeya. The third one, Even Oezer, meaning the stone, the helping stone, or laws of marriage, and their laws of divorce and related issues. And when I give you these lists, that's not all that's in there, but these are the most popular items studied in that particular section. And the final one, Choshen Mishpat. These are laws of finance. They had laws of financial responsibility, damages, which are either personal or personal and financial, and the rules of the court, the Beit Din, as well as the laws of witnesses. So you have laws of judges, laws of witnesses, Dayanim and Edim, and that is the contents of the Arba Chalkei Shulchan Aruch, the 4 parts of the Shulchan Aruch. And interestingly enough, it was classic that when someone studied for rabbinic ordination in the old times, classically he studied Yoredeo, and especially laws of kashrut, laws of kosher, because communities, that was the most important thing in communities had. They didn't have, the other questions can be held off, but if it's Erev Shabbos and you have a chicken and it's kosher or not, and that's all you have because you're too poor for anything else, the rabbi better know that halacha, that in order that he can allow it for you if it's possibly allowable. And also, that was the first level of smicha, or actually the level of psak of smicha was that level of Yoredeya. The second level, the higher level, today there's another level below Yoredeya, which is called Rav Umanig, which is a title rabbi that people rule on subjects that are not arguable. If you know something that's a less mandipolig, so someone with Rav Umanig can usually say, well, there's no argument on this law, and he's allowed to say that. Yoredeya allows a rabbi to make a decision between 2 opposing opinions. And the highest level is Choshen Mishpat. That's the level you need for a judge to be a judge. And that discusses laws of finance, laws of witnesses, etc. And that smicha is called Yodin Yodin. The Yoredeya smicha is called Yore Yore. And this particular set of structure is what has been guiding the Jewish people for hundreds and hundreds of years. All the way for 3,000 years we had a Torah or more, but this particular structure in which they looked goes back at least to the Rambam, who codified Jewish laws in the 13th century. So there you have the Shulchan Aruch, and that's what it is. That's how it's divided. And I'm Rabbi Yaakov Spivak, and until we meet again, Zayt Gesund Lehitraot, Shalom Al Yisrael. And most of all, my friend, Chazak.